Welcome back to What She Said Sports. Okay, so I have my screen in dual mode because, as you can see, this is probably the first page or page 11 of supposed to be a 60-page document. Um, so I figured since we have the PDF version of the document, we would peruse through it. So let me know if you got your snacks together, and then we'll probably get going into this document. So you guys have probably heard a lot about it. I heard a lot about it. One of the things that I thought was interesting today was that I didn't hear much today. Now, for this document to be a bombshell, um, and to come out when the league is technically on vacation for the most part, it's not a lot of talk about it. Not a lot of talk at all. Podcasters are talking. Pablo Torre is making his rounds yesterday, and Mike Florio is put out another video today talking about what's next, etc. But not much buzz surrounding it. And Pablo Torre said on the Dan Le Batard show that the NFL is monitoring his TV appearances. So it presents that Pablo Torre might not be working with the NFL, but we don't really know that. He also said that people want to know how he got his hands on the document, and he wasn't willing to tell how he got his hands on the document. So, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to read this document today. That's what you see on the screen. And that's what it is. That's what it is. So, we'll see if you can see more of it that way, when I'm reading it. Oh, I think because I put it in dual mode. Let me switch that back real fast. And then we'll just go back to our regular mode, full screen. Okay. All right. So let's go back up to the top. All right. So I'm looking at my monitor. I can see myself. I can see y'all's comments going on the screen, but I cannot read all of your comments. So just know that I'm still going, but I can't really see y'all, but y'all can see me. Okay. So as you can see, this is page 1. It's supposed to be a 60-page document. I don't know why there's 137 pages here, which also does what? It raises speculation that if this is the actual document that came out in January. You do see the name of the arbitrator, the judge here. And it says it's on, NFL collusion claims, whatever, right? Hold on 1 second. So that much is about right. And this is the introduction. Now, this says on October 19th, 2022, the NFL Players Association commenced this arbitration. So it started in 22. Now, remember, Russell Wilson in 22 was going from Seattle to Denver. So keep that in mind. And it says that this is a collusion grievance, the collective bargaining representative for NFL players, commonly referred to as their union. Okay. The grievance claimed that the club owners colluded to deny certain players, not all players, but certain players, guaranteed compensation, which is in violation of Article 17. So that's what that says there, right? So let's see if we can scoop down. And that's Article 17 is laid out. Collusion's prohibition, Section 1, prohibited conduct. No club, its employees or agents shall enter into any agreement expressed or implied with the NFL or any other club, or its employees or agents, etc. Right? So that's what the article is. That's in violation, right? So let's move on because we don't really care about that. We're looking at this document to see if there's anything in here. To see if there's anything in here that is salacious, because we know this is about Russell Wilson. We know it's about Kyler Murray, and some people said this was about Deshaun Watson. I think what they meant is they briefly touched on his contract. So that's what they mean when they say that. Okay. All right, let's see. The history of the current grievance. Let's see. commenced this system arbitration in 2022, alleged the NFL entered into a collusive agreement with its member club to restrict or to limit fully guaranteed players' contracts. So that's what it's about. And it says right here, the alleged purpose of the NFL's agreement with the clubs was to thwart the market competition from running its course. So they didn't want the players to get fair market value and to prevent them from following the precedent set by quarterback Deshaun Watson's 5-year fully guaranteed $230 million player contract signed with the Cleveland Browns in March of 2022. So Deshaun signed his contract in March of 2022, just before the 2022 draft, and this grievance was filed during the season in October. So the Players Association alleged that the collusive agreement for the NFL precluded 3 other quarterbacks named Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray from obtaining fully guaranteed contracts after Deshaun Watson's contract. Okay, so there you go. That's what this is about. We have talked about this extensively. This is our first time looking at this document in detail. We're looking at it together for the first time because I told y'all I ain't have time to sit down and go through this. So I thought it would be great to kind of like go through it together. And if you have questions, put them in the chat and, we'll try to see what we could do to answer them. Now, we can go through the document and come back and do the Q&A part. Okay, because y'all know we always go through the chat anyway. So we can do it that way. So we know what this is about, right? So it says, the filing of the grievance collusion allegations focused on circumstances surrounding an owners meeting. So there was an owners meeting August 9th of 2022. The players union alleged that before that meeting, a high-ranking executive in the NFL league's office asked an NFL owner, so from league office to NFL owner, to initiate a discussion with the other owners about not agreeing to large player contracts with fully guaranteed salaries like Mr. Watson's, and that this topic was discussed during the owners meeting. Okay, first and foremost, the first thing that jumps out at me. Let me read this one more time because it's not making sense. It said, the players union alleged that prior to the meeting in August of 2022 with the owners, a high-ranking executive in the league's office asked an NFL owner to initiate a discussion. So the league is going to an owner and say, hey, why don't you talk to the other owners about restricting fully guaranteed contracts? Why would the league go to an owner? The league not paying nobody? Why would the league, who's a governing body for the most part, why would the league go to the owners and say, hey, why don't go to one owner and say, why don't you talk to your guys at your meeting about restricting and not agreeing to large player contracts like Deshaun Watson's that are fully guaranteed? See, I don't even believe that. If that's the premise from all of this, they're trying to say that the league itself was opposed to Deshaun Watson's contract. What? If this said one owner went to the league and said, hey, we're getting ready to restrict players from getting a contract like Deshaun's, then I could get it. But they saying the league initiated the collusion. Anybody else pick up on that's kind of weird? And did anybody notice today who was trending today? Deshaun Watson and both Justin Tucker were trending today of all days. Of all days for the two of them to be trending, because Justin Tucker was received a 10-game suspension for his misconduct, the same misconduct as Deshaun Watson, except for there was supposed to be 15 women in Justin Tucker's situation, and there was 22 or 24 in Deshaun. So that's the irony of this entire situation, that this collusion case comes out. This is really about the catalyst contract, which is Deshaun Watson, That was what, yesterday it came out, day before, and now we're talking about Justin Tucker's 10-game sentence. And fans are saying they want the media to keep the same energy with Justin Tucker that they had with Deshaun Watson, meaning they talked about it incessantly. I just told y'all yesterday that Justin Tucker escaped out the back door. So at a time that the media should be in a repetitive cycle about the collusion agreement, no, that's not happening. Only the people who put it out there are really still talking about it, and podcasters, but that's not big box media. And then today, Justin Tucker is sentenced 10 games, suspended 10 games for doing the same thing Deshaun Watson did. Again, coming out at a time where the league is on vacation, big box media is on vacation. They're not talking about this. This is how things get lost. This is how they strategically put out information they don't want to stay in the news when nobody is paying attention. And again, that makes me question the timing of this document, the validity of the document, because you put this out now. You could have put this out when the Super Bowl was happening, but instead there was collusion to cover up the ruling. But this document is supposed to say that the NFL wasn't guilty. They were almost guilty. And I'm like, okay, if that was the case, this would be in a cycle, in a rotation all day long. The players tried to sue and lost. That's not what's happening. So anyway, let's get back to what we're reading. The irony of the timing of everything. So basically they're saying a league official went to the owners. Y'all have a meeting coming up. Talk to your guys, the other owners, about restricting Deshaun Watson's contract. Don't make any sense to me, but that's what they're saying. It said, I granted expedited recovery pursuant to Section 3 of Article 15 of the CBA. Okay, so this is the nugget right here. The judge granted expedited discovery. Now, y'all know that there's a ruling on the other case, according to Eric Jackson by way of TLP's podcast, that a ruling is expected. Now, we've been getting all these rulings and all this stuff happening, but there's nothing on that end, right? So maybe that's what's coming. Let's see. So expedited discovery based on extensive discovery obtained. I wonder how much time they had to get the discovery together. The focus of the Players Association grievance shifted. First, a regularly scheduled NFL owners meeting in March of 2022, and as well as a series of events and statements before and after the meeting became relevant to the issues concerning alleged collusion about guarantees. Second, the Players Union broadened its claim to encompass an alleged collusive agreement to limit the amount of guarantees and partially guaranteed contracts of veteran players, not just fully guaranteed contracts. So first they were saying it was collusion about fully guaranteed contracts. Then they added the scope to say, okay, also too, fully guaranteed and partially guaranteed. So like an injury guarantee, that's a guarantee. They said Russell Wilson lost $81 million as a result of lost guarantees. So there were damages here. Okay. So that's what they were arguing about. Not just fully guaranteed like Mr. Watson. They're now seeking relief on behalf of 594 veteran players who received partial guarantees in contracts entered into in 2023. 594 veteran players, not just the 3 quarterbacks named in the original grievance. Okay, there's 2 grievances. I'm starting to think. The original grievance, which only had 4 people's names in it. Deshaun Watson, because they're talking about his contract, and 3 veterans. Remember when they said certain players fully guaranteed? That was 1. This seems like there was an addition somewhere, unless it's all part of another one, because see, the first document was supposed to be 60 pages. This is 137. So there seems to be some confusion here. And this is why people are questioning the validity of this document, because it's talking about 594 people that weren't talked about before. If they knew about the 594 people before, they would have said it. So this is the confusion. So on behalf of an additional 594 veterans who received partial guarantees and contracts entered into in 2023, not just the 3 quarterbacks named in the original grievance. See, that's the part I would circle. The original grievance, because it makes me feel like, yeah, right here. This part right here. This is a part you want to come back to. All right. So there you go. All right. That's interesting. That's interesting. See, it says right here, C9544 revised list of NFL players who suffered injury and damages. So there's a revised list somewhere. Okay. Once discovery concluded, the NFL moved for summary judgment under Section 7 of Article 17. The motion was denied. So the NFL asked for summary judgment, and they like, nope. Pursuant to Section 5 of Article 17, then conducted an evidentiary hearing on the issues of relief, liability, and the amount of any damages. The hearing, which was held in New York City, proceeded over the course of 10 days in July and August of 2024. Witnesses who testified at the hearing included former Union President J.C. Tretter, current Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Russell Wilson. So see, Russell was in Pittsburgh at the moment. Not when it started, but when it was wrapped, I guess when they were testifying. So this dragged out from 2022, 23, and now we're midway through 24. Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson, Roger Goodell, who was also he's the commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell, and former executive director DeMaurice Smith, NFL and NFL MC executives. These are the people who, I guess they're talking about NFL MC Management Council. Executives Jerry Posh and Larry Baltimore Ravens general manager Eric DaCosta, and a number of club owners, including John Mara from the Giants, Jimmy Haslam from the Browns, Michael Bidwell from the Cardinals, Greg Penner from Denver, Steve from Baltimore, Robert Kraft, New England, yada, yada, yada. Okay, and then they brought in NFLPA damages expert. Okay, I'm going to circle this. So this is asserting that the union has an expert on damages. And who is that? Like, was this somebody supplied by the NFL? Was this somebody from the management council? Or did the Players Association go out and get their own expert on damages? Because do they have an in-house expert on damages? Okay, so that's a valid question. Okay. It said all 3 experts, as well as the NFL salary cap and player contract negotiations expert, submitted expert reports. Yeah, I need to know, are these experts part of the management council? Because remember, I told y'all the management council, the NFL MC, is supposed to be one of the, like a springboard for lawyers. It's supposed to rival some of the best law firms in the nation. Keep that in mind. Okay. Negotiation experts submitted export reports. The NFLPA and NFL submitted post-hearing briefs, and counsel argued those briefs before me on November 2024. So they argued all of this right before Thanksgiving. Okay. So basically they did all of this and they left a cliffhanger. The arguments happened right before Thanksgiving. They left for Thanksgiving the next week and they was out. The NFL has asserted a different what? Must be at different times in these proceedings that the union claim on behalf of veteran players with partially guaranteed contracts should not be permitted on various grounds. So, okay, the NFL is like, no, we object. We don't want to consider the grievances about partial contracts, about partial guarantees. Should not be permitted for various reasons, including that it is not procedurally barred and not authorized under the CBA. So it's not a violation. I have considered all of the arguments on these issues, both prior to and following the hearing, and we have decided to allow this portion of the claim. So, okay, the judge is saying, again, we gonna allow it. So this is the second time the NFL has made two objections, and they wanted a summary, and then they wanted a summary judgment, and they wanted to exclude the partially guaranteed contracts. And this time the judge said no. I see strategy happening here, but let's just keep going. And it makes the NFLPA think they're winning, and I think the lawsuit gonna go the same way. I'm gonna let you think you winning, but I'm gonna get you. That's what I'm seeing. Okay, so I gotta give you some crumbs. That's what this is. I'm giving the NFLPA some crumbs, because if I just go no, 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 and then guilty but not damages, or dismiss it not guilty, whatever, then you're gonna look sideways. But if I let you win all the way up until the finish line, and then I pull you back and let the league win, you're gonna be like, well, okay, we just lost. See, it's strategy, it's how it looks, the perception, the optics, legal strategy, the way you go about it. If I let the other side, the union, think that they're winning, then it doesn't look like I'm biased. Okay, so that's what we are with that. So we get ready to breeze through this. So we know what it's about. Okay, blah 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 blah. There was meetings. They talked about it. There was discovery. The NFL objected twice. The judge said, nope, not so fast. He left it all in. He sided with the NFLPA twice, the union twice. Okay. The following constitutes my findings of fact and determination of relief pursuant. Okay, so let's see. Club can guarantee compensation for skill injury and or when a player's compensation or portion of his compensation subject to any guarantees, he will not be paid unless the guaranteed amounts remain on his contract. Okay, yeah, that's just the definition of guarantees and how it's applied. Player salary in the NFL are not typically fully guaranteed, unlike in any other sports league such as the National Baseball League and Major League Baseball. It said guaranteed contracts pose a greater risk for NFL teams, in part because NFL players experience injury with a higher frequency than players in other professional sports. Let me circle that. What do y'all think about the NFL justification for why they don't issue fully guaranteed contracts? Because the NFL players are more prone to injury due to higher frequency of injuries. Guaranteed contracts pose a greater risk for NFL teams, in part because NFL players experience with higher frequency than players in other professional sports. I don't know. It's a lot of ACLs in basketball. What do y'all think about that? Drop it in the comments. Do you think this is a valid justification for the NFL not to offer guarantees? Basketball plays 82 games in the regular season. They have a preseason too. They play technically from end of September, early October, end of September, all the way, if you make the playoffs, 82 games plus to June, if you make the playoffs. So the only months you're not playing basketball, July and August. So 10 months out of the year, you're playing multiple games during the week. We know basketball is a physical sport. People get hurt and injured all the time. They have guaranteed contracts. The NFL only plays 18 games for 3 hours once a week. Even if you go to the playoffs and Super Bowl, you still not going past 25, 28 games. So what do y'all think about that? See, to me, that's where I call foul. I'm like, y'all have less injuries because you play less. You have less contact. You play once a week. and everybody doesn't go to the playoffs and everybody doesn't go to the Super Bowl, and you're only playing from August to January, y'all have almost 6 other months to rest. August, September, no, you have this January. You got February, March, April, May, June, July. You have 7 months to rest in football. Seven. 6 if you go to the Super Bowl, but that's only 2 teams. So see, that's the kind of jargon that NFL uses, but it's not logical. If basketball and baseball plays a lot of games. I swear they play damn near year round. Just like basketball, and both of them have guaranteed contracts. So this is where you say the NFL is lying. This is where this needs to be argued. And I don't even know how the NFL Players Association could just go along with that. They can count. It said the Players Association successfully proposed uniform, fully guaranteed contracts for all players when negotiating in 2011 and 2020. But the league and its owners did not agree. I mean, do they not have any leverage? You have asked twice, 2011 and 2020, and they said no. Ask again. Ask again, because you shouldn't have lost the first time. It's like the NFLPA act like they don't have no leverage. And what's happening right now? 30 players in the second round alone, a total of 39 rookies overall, are holding out, trying to exercise leverage that the NFL Players Association can't leverage. Can't seem to get done. See, to me, I feel like they being sold out by the union. So, okay, that's what we are. They don't have fully guaranteed contracts. March 18 to 2022, it became public that Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns had agreed to a 5-year, $230 million fully guaranteed contract. What does that say? It said best seen email. Oh, somebody got an email. Trotter and Briarshop or whatever article. It said the contract set a new record for fully guaranteed money at signing. See the email, somebody's email, in an article. Haslam. Oh, okay. Some Haslam said prior to signing the contract. Okay, here we go. Watson had been a quarterback with the Houston Texans, but was unhappy there and requested a trade. See some evidence, Barshop article. Once the Texans agreed to a trade with the Cleveland Browns, Mr. Watson was in a position similar to that of a free agent. When he was with the Texans, Mr. Watson was accused of a number of sexual assault and was the subject of civil lawsuits and criminal complaints. Though he was not criminally charged, Mr. Watson was disciplined by the league and ultimately received an 11-game suspension to be served in his first season with the Browns and a $5 million fine. Salary cap. Okay, so basically, Deshaun Watson wasn't happy and he wanted to trade. And then there's mention of the cases. That's interesting. So you notice how they said he wasn't happy and he wanted a trade, and then he got it. And then after that, the civil lawsuits. It should have been Deshaun Watson wasn't happy with the Texans and wanted a trade. There were, and before the trade was granted, there were 22 SA lawsuits that came up, and then his trade was granted. You know why they didn't put it like that? Because it shows what I said it is: retaliation. So now, see all of these lawsuits, all of this collusion and all of this people holding out, all of this is karma for Deshaun Watson for trying to retaliate against him. And people who have a brain know that he was essentially Deshaun Watson $230 million guarantee. He was essentially reimbursed every single dime he paid in civil lawsuits, plus his lawyer's fees. He had no criminal charges, and he was not added to the commissioner's exempt list. And that $5 million fine he was paid, he was reimbursed that too. and he scotted off, or is about to scot off, with $230 million fully guaranteed, which is the catalyst for this collusion case. Because how does somebody with 22 civil lawsuits in misconduct end up with the only fully guaranteed contract of that magnitude? I'm circling this. Yep, I'm circling this because that's crazy, right? And I'm changing the color to orange because to word it that way, excuse me, to word it that way, actually I can just go down here. To word it this way is also strategic. It makes it seem like he wasn't happy and he wasn't happy, he got a trade, and the sexual assault was an afterthought. And then today, Justin Tucker is since suspended 10 games for the same exact thing. The difference is nobody is berating Justin Tucker, not the teams, not the fans. That's why fans today had going trending. You know that Superman meme, the twins, where they pointing at each other and they're like, you, we're the same. Yeah, because they did the same thing. But look at the disparity with how these situations were handled. So let's see what Justin Tucker's next contract look like. Okay, so to me, this is karma for Deshaun Watson. All right, so the salary cap. Okay, so it's talking about the salary cap and the club spending on player compensation, subject to an annual hard salary cap. Okay, yeah. And the salary cap for each NFL team is determined annually based on the amount of all revenue, the total amount expected to be earned by the NFL and its member clubs in a given league year from broadcast revenues, ticket sales, concessions, and other sources. Okay, let's talk. Let me highlight this. Let's talk about this. Okay, you see right here where it says other sources. The other sources are the things that fans are saying is the reason why the teams, the clubs, don't care about the Super Bowl. Why they're not trying to get there. They don't care about the Super Bowl. They care about um broadcast revenues, ticket sales, concessions, and y'all know they got some high dollar food in some of these stadiums. The drinks, all of that. They make money from all of that. Merch and other sources. And there's other sources, and there's a 7. There's a footnote. Okay. So all these other things, all these extraneous factors are why you see the Cleveland Browns trying to run off to the suburbs and build a dome stadium. But don't be fooled. They bought more than just land for a stadium. They're going to build the star like they have in Dallas, in Cleveland, so they are not dependent. So they can get to $1 billion without getting to the Super Bowl. And they're not the only ones trying to do it. So that's what that is. All right. So where are we? All right. Let me check my comments and see if y'all still with me. Okay, so I'm checking the comments right fast. Let me take a break. 33 of us hit the like button for me. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Hey everybody, I'm taking a break and reading the comments because that's a lot already. I hope you know they are hearing you and know pushing the narrative about collusion. Huh? Who are you talking about? BJ? It said exposing the truth. I'm a little late, but did Shedeur file for collusion? Not to my knowledge. BJ, I doubt that he does. BJ Riggs exposing the truth. Shedeur did not. Oh, okay, somebody answered the question. August 9th, that's Coach Prime's birthday. Oh, I didn't know that. He's a Leo. Okay. Maybe they were meaning. Hold on one second. Let's see what it says. Maybe. Charlotte said maybe they were meaning management council. It said high ranking executives could be someone on the management council. It could. It could. It really could. BJ said, I ain't never heard of almost. So if you if you rerun someone, you can get off if you almost make this madness make sense. Right. That's being a little pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're not. When you take a pregnancy test, it's yes or no, positive or negative, true or false. It's no in between. There's no in between. It said bull. It's not stopping their profits from those some players, whether injured or not. Right. So you're talking about the guarantee. If anybody, if any league can afford with the risk, and it's not even a lot of risk, they only play 18 games. You know how many times I have heard in the NBA, some with an ACL, somebody with an ACL. I mean, it's so common. Look what happened to Juju when she was playing with USC and she couldn't even get to the big game. ACLs are so common. They play 82 games. If anybody shouldn't have a guaranteed contract due to risk of injury, it's the damn baseball who plays a lot of games and basketball. And basketball for sure. They play 10 months out of 12. And see, that's just another way that the NFL cheats its players. And I don't even know how anybody could rest with the NFL providing such a sham of a justification. It said that is why guaranteed contracts are needed because of a possible short career lifespan, which could also include long term physical hardships, right? And they just got vision benefits. That's how you know their union is not on their side. How are you just getting vision benefits? They had to fight and go to court behind CTE. The league was screwing over its own players over concussions and did screw who? The black players. The NFL used race norming straight off the plantation in afterlife of slavery to settle $1 billion lawsuit with a B, because when it came to concussions, they didn't want to pay the black players for CTE, for concussions, saying their brains already functioned less than the white players. So they paid the white players for concussions. They rewarded the white players who had concussions, but not the black players, because your cognitive function is already low. So you're not sustaining any damages. That right there should have made every black NFL player walk out. That should have been it. That had to go to court because they violated their civil rights. Now imagine if that didn't go to court. It would just be a thing. And mind you, it was, I think, one player or some players were involved. Like, there is no way in the hell you don't walk out and strike after finding out that they think your brain functions less than white players. And football players have talked about it in various environments, saying that white players are coddled when they have an injury, and black players are expected to play through it. But then they're gonna say your brain functions at a lower cognitive functioning, so I don't need to pay you for concussions because your brain is superior. That's in 2021. That's even after George Floyd, and they still fighting about it in 2024. Mm-mm-mm. You gotta know when to stand up and say hell no. It said no, it's not a valid point because every time the players go on the field, they are putting their lives on the line. So they need guaranteed contracts. If something happened, they will be good. Now understand this. The NFL don't like NIL. Guess what? That's guaranteed money. You think that's why they don't like it? Because you in college and they supposedly don't have no contract. You in college. You get paid $8 million for 2 years. That's it. You play the regular season. You might go to the playoffs. You might not. The money's no different. The money's no different. But then you're supposed to come to the NFL and leave your legacy behind. You're supposed to act like you getting ready to learn brain surgery. You are actually pro ready, And they want you to sit behind somebody that failed last year. And then they want to devalue you and rob you. And you don't have no guarantee, and nobody's money is guaranteed. Travis's contract, what he wanted, he orchestrated that his signing bonus be paid up front. Well, that's what it should have been anyway, because that's what signing bonuses are. If you get a Christmas bonus, you get it for Christmas. You don't get it for Easter, because it's a Christmas bonus. You get it during that time period. When you get a signing bonus, you get it when you join, when you sign, not even when you start working, when you sign up and sign your contract and say, yes, I will work for you. And it's in your first paycheck. So he orchestrated something that should have already been there. Now, ain't nobody said it was guaranteed. Now, understand this. Michael Vick, when he got drafted, had a signing bonus. They came back and took it 5, 6, 7 years later and bankrupted his family. What the hell kind of compensation agreement do you have that says if you pay me in 2000 that you can come back and get it if I get in trouble 8 years later? Bankrupt his family. That's why they took him back, because people were calling out the NFL for racism. I told y'all Michael Vick didn't get off scot-free. If I said every quarterback before him that we studied, every quarterback after him that we studied endured racism, so did he. And that's what it was. They took back his signing bonus and bankrupt his family. And then after 2 years, they let him come back. He was suspended indefinitely. He wasn't supposed to come back. And after they took his signing bonus, what they didn't get from him, they sued him for it. And then they turned over the collection of it, or whatever you want to call it, the settlement of it, to a third party financial services firm to distance themselves from digging every dime back from him. That's why they let him come back. Now you know why Deshaun Watson got a $230 million guarantee contract, because they did him wrong. Yeah, he was wrong, but he wasn't the only one. And Justin Tucker being given a 10 game sentence today of all days, when we talking about the collusion case, that's the catalyst because of that contract. And then you have 30 players in the second round holding out because 2 players that went to both teams, Houston and Cleveland, both associated with Deshaun Watson's contract, got fully guaranteed contracts, but the other 30 didn't. So they're like, we holding out. Good. Let's see what happens. It said NIL may make a lot. Oh, wait, I went down too far. Hold on 1 second. Oh, yeah, I went down too far. Gracie said, Gracie talking about the likes. Thank you, Gracie, for being on it. Thank you. Good evening. Hey, brother, how you doing? Hey, Eric Jackson, how you doing? Tina, okay. It said, truth ain't true. CB's owner, Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam, has received approval to proceed with his new project to build the dome. Yep. And they still fighting about how they gonna leave Cleveland. Other podcasts is now mentioning how they colluded moving Shedeur to 5. They are now bringing up Watson. Yep, that's good. That's good. Thank you for that, BJ. Hey, Tommy, how you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. I have been watching you. You are on point with so much. Thank you so much. It gets frustrating to see all of the harsh things happening. Yes, and the guy that we worked on earlier, I was like, oh, bro, that broke my heart. And I shared a link to an interview he did a couple of years ago with another former player that has a podcast. And I thanked the person that told me about it. And I went and watched the interview. Lord have mercy. That's all I'm gonna say. That's like I got fired from a job and they come back and say, "Oh, you need to pay me what you owe me." Hey, excuse me? And no, they're gonna come back 8 years later. Hey, remember us? You used to work for us. Let me get that bonus I gave you. You need to get the hell out of my face. That's what they did to Michael Vick. And they liked him, right? It's like when it comes to these black players, they do them so dirty. Like that guy today, what's his name? What was it? Deshaun, I forget his name that fast. Start DK, that's what they called him. Whoo-wee. Baby, I know his mom and daddy was crying tears week after week after week. And the little bit of the interview I remember him saying, and I just kept getting worse, and they left him in. They hung him. They threw him to the wolves and let them feast off his body. And week after week after week, they all gathered to celebrate his rotting flesh. That's the only way you could describe it. And it made me ask, what the hell are the Cleveland fans rallying around the Browns? What are they truly celebrating? The demise of the quarterbacks? Cause how you like not like the Carolina Panthers fan? We not coming back here. The tickets was 45 cents and the Carolina Panthers fans refused to go. That's where Cleveland should be. But now they talking about they got a couple of boycotts happening in Cleveland on the ground that people are putting together. There was actually a boycott when Deshaun Watson got his contract. People refunded got their season tickets canceled. They canceled their season tickets. Now they want to go out and protest where they getting ready to, I guess, do their groundbreaking in Brook Park with this new stadium. See, that's not enough. Don't show up. They supposed to be staging walkouts, or they have done it in the past. They say the fans there do use their voice with, not showing up and this, that, and the other. I'm like, it sure ain't helping. They gonna need to get together in mass and leave that stadium with crickets week after week. Go do something else. Go do something else. That's crazy. BJ said the NFL, NIL may make a lot if people NIL may make a lot if people to take NIL build off of that and skip going pro because you only paid for 3 years and it ain't much. Why risk your body? See, this is the thing. Good point. Good point, BJ. We talked about this. The latest that we know of for this next, for the future class, Lenore Seller's father. Now, if it's true, he said what? That his son was offered $8 million to go to another college for 2 years and play ball, right? And his father's comment was, you have the opportunity to build something special here at South Carolina. And this is about relationships and loyalty. I'm like, did you not watch the damn draft? Did you not see what they did to Coach Prime and his son and his program? Loyalty. All they did was push him up to say that, to make him feel like he's one of them. We're going to see what happens because his son is number 19. And to me, that's going to cause a problem in their family, right? Because Cam Moore was the number one pick, but look at what he's having to go through. He has to compete with the guy that failed already. Why did you draft the quarterback if you want to still test out the guy that failed? Just stick with the guy that failed because the fans ain't having it. And that's what Cleveland needs to do. That's just crazy. Sydney, how you doing, Sydney? Welcome. It said my uncle doesn't have medical insurance from the NFL. He was on my aunt's medical insurance. The concussion my uncle got paid, they could have got much more, but Terry Bradshaw backstabbed the players. Oh, again? He backstabbed Joe Gilliam first. So he doesn't have medical insurance? The Players Association. Like, at what point do you stand up for yourself? They always laugh and talk about how they go broke. They got countless videos about the players that go broke, their contracts not guaranteed. What are you holding on to? The possibility? The glam that's really, when you look behind the curtain, is rotten. You're being abused, constantly berated, constantly forced into submission. Did you see the guy being suspended because of inappropriate? Yep, Justin Tucker. I did a video about it when it first came out. Yep, they want to sweep that under the rug. Fans are saying, keep the same energy that you had with Deshaun Watson. Yep. And you see, Deshaun, see, this is the crazy part. And somebody said this on X. Uh, they said NFL fans should be like disturbed by Deshaun Watson's contract. They constantly trying to throw Deshaun Watson under the bus, right? I said, well, NFL fans ought to be disturbed that the NFL essentially reimbursed Deshaun Watson every single dime, plus his legal fees, plus his fine that he had to pay, and then set him up to have a nice life. So you need to be pissed with the NFL. Deshaun Watson clearly wasn't the only one. And Justin Tucker trending today with a 10-game sentence tells you that. And that's why they're not talking about Justin Tucker. But somebody popped up in the news today. I ain't going to say no names. And I said, isn't that the guy they say introduced Deshaun to all the girls? I said, well, that's why once they found out it was just Deshaun Watson, and they knew that, they ain't say nothing. He was in the news today. Amazing, the timing of all of this just coming together like that. That's just crazy. Karma. I just watched Pac-Man Fishing with Prime and love the comments. Yep, I was in there. I saw everyone supporting Prime because this has made him sick. Yeah. I'm happy to see the guys go out. I'm happy to see Pac-Man out there because I hadn't seen him on his podcast in a minute. So that was nice to see him get out there. When you don't speak on things like Prime really has not, all that you hold in turns into sickness, right? It tears up, it breaks down your immune system. It breaks down your immune system. And I was talking about how earlier today, Cam Ward knows he's in a situation that is not right. He knows that they paid him $48 million fully guaranteed to be QB1. He knows they're making him compete with the guy from last year. He's fully aware that the situation they are intentionally creating is supposed to make him underperform because of nervousness. It's supposed to apply pressure to him that is dysfunctional. He knows this. But the way he handled it deserves an applause because when he was interviewed, y'all probably already heard it. Some of you might not know. They asked him what he thought about something coming out there, being with the Texans, or I don't know, maybe competing for QB1 or whatever. And his response included some expletives that says, oh, I come out here and let them know they can't blank blank with me. And today, the NFL is saying Cam Ward is what? A natural leader. So he done cussed them out, and now he a natural leader. Sometimes you got to pop out and show them. Hey, Jackie, how you doing? How you doing? They like to break you down and fly over like buzzards. Right. That's what they did to, what is his name? The one I did the video on earlier. Poe Baby. I know his family had to be heartbroken, but you know what? Same thing. What happened to Caleb Williams? He was sacked the most times in the NFL, 68 times. 68 times. And I know, just like we hurt when we watched Shedeur get sacked, the same way at Colorado over 2 years. I know his father heart broke to see his son be pelted that way. And his son tried to dodge the NFL. And I said today, after the third round, Shedeur should have voluntarily exited the NFL draft because what they did to this young man in Cleveland in 2017, and exactly that's who his father was basically speaking out about the season, the season that he had when Coach Prime put out that post in 2018 saying, I see what Cleveland is doing, yada, 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 but no young quarterback should go there. That was a direct response to that young man being publicly humiliated for 15 games. They let him go 0-15. If the fans showed up every week to support that, what the hell are the Cleveland fans celebrating? That's what I'm starting to wonder. If they are all consistently gathering around the destruction of another human being, and the blacker the better. I said it. Makes me wonder. I really don't want Shedeur to play one snap. He probably not. He probably gonna play preseason. They probably gonna let him do like DTR. DTR was a 5th round pick out of UCLA. He's now in Philly. Remember, some people said Philly was trying to get Shedeur and then Cleveland jumped in the way. And that makes sense because, well, no, because I think DTR had just been traded there in March. So I don't know why they would have got Shedeur too, but anything's possible. Nobody was allowed to get Shedeur. Nobody. You could see it. So I think he might end up in Dallas. I told y'all the other day. I said, I can see, y'all can see that what? Coach Prime is influential, right? The viral video of Travis fishing with Coach Prime 24 hours later on a Sunday, he gets his what? Signing bonus paid up front. And I'm like, thanks to who? Coach Prime, which means Coach Prime has influence. Because why? Travis hadn't signed his contract yet. And to see Travis fishing with Coach Prime is like, oh shit, we done messed up. We might lose Travis. Which is why somebody had to get out their bed or get off their yacht and get people together to get that language in the contract together, let Travis know, hey, we want to go ahead on and take care of that. And they gave him what he wanted. Leverage. Who was Travis's leverage? Coach Prime. The same person that they betrayed after he called them family and friend for decades. After they betrayed his son. So guess who's going to be Shedeur's leverage? Coach Prime. You don't think that this just going to work for Travis? No, this going to work for Shedeur. And I was reading about how the teams, the owners, don't like to pay rookies up front, which is why they have minuscule contracts, like $48 million. So by the time Cam Ward is done, he should be almost at 300 in his 5-year mark. By the time he gets to year 3 before May 1st, he will likely be offered a 5-year extension for probably almost $400 to $500 million because Pat Mahomes is already at $400 million. Josh Allen just at 330. So he'll probably be somewhere in that because I think Lamar is at 2 something and so is Jalen Hurts. The price gonna go up. And every year it goes up. And there's a percentage that their salary increases by 25% year over year. Their extensions and everything, they go up. So 3 years from now, he gonna be looking at $300 to $400 million for a 5-year extension, and it has to come out in year 3 by May 1, which means this is why they want to walk on eggshells until they get to that point. See, that's why Cam could fend them off and pop out and show them what they gonna do. His contract is fully guaranteed. See, Shedeur can't do that. What they gonna do? Cut him? Because I might try it. For $4 million, I might cuss out somebody else and see if they cut me. Because he locked in. And yeah, they don't want him to start. If they don't want Cam to start, it confirms what I said about Shedeur in the draft. They don't want him to start either. And if they have, in their minds, buried Jalen Milroe, they don't want him to start either. So they don't want Shedeur to start. So you're probably going to see him weaving in and out of games, taking snaps. I don't know if Flacco gonna be there or not. Flacco and Shedeur actually had that duo chemistry, but it looked like Flacco might be out. So maybe Kenny Pickett and then Dylan and then Shedeur, but don't be surprised if Cleveland go get somebody else. Hey Damon, welcome back. It said because they evil. Yup. The fans act like they got to be there. They just don't go. Just don't go. Right. Like at some point between the players and the fans in Cleveland, man up, damn it. Man up. Do what the Carolina Panthers did. Stay home. I don't care if them tickets 45 cents. Leave that damn stadium empty. And the game they should do it is what game? The Bengals versus Cleveland in Cleveland. Hell, go to the Bengals game. These players have to grow a spine. Right. No, let me tell you what's going to happen. Y'all see the league making a run for the exit with a global strategy, right? If that continues to work and they continue to grow, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if, just like in basketball, you see a lot more foreign players and you're starting to see at the quarterback position white players. You're starting to see at certain key positions foreign players. And then maybe just at receiver and corner, black players. Don't be surprised. You better make the sacrifice before you become the sacrifice. This is the optimal time for these guys to band together and start their own league as the NFL runs for the exit. Because that's what that is. And they already in NFL Africa exploring talent, exploiting talent, bringing it through the UK to the US. I think Cincinnati has 6 players from various countries in Africa because they have a program. But it looks like what they also do with HBCUs, they get the bodies. Just like I don't see any HBCUs players being quarterbacks coming to the league. You don't see that coming out of Africa either. It's the same play. What they do with the HBCUs is what they do with Africa. Take the talent, but they don't invest. They want to play in Ireland. They want to play in Brazil. They want to play in all these other countries. Why they don't play a game in Africa? They have a beautiful stadium in Africa. They have nice stadiums in Africa. Why they don't play a game? No different than the diamond industry. Exploitation. If I was prime, don't even ask me about the NFL event, right? And they know they can't. They know. They have burned their bridge, but you know what I think? I think somehow this gonna be remedied through Jerry Jones. Somehow. Cause y'all know Prime and Jerry Jones know each other. I could be wrong, but I have an inkling of a feeling that that's what's gonna happen. We shall see, right? That's our motto here. Not saying it's guaranteed. I just have an inkling. They are trying to make the NFL great again. Now that's facts. That's facts, Tommy. That's facts. I said they're trying to resurrect Jim Crow from the dead. Flacco sees the BS. You know what? That's what I said. Tina, I said it. I said Flacco won't out. I think he like, look here. Okay, I didn't get off my couch for this. And it's not that I don't want to mentor Shedeur. I don't want to be caught up in what y'all got going on. I'm too old for this. I came for the $4 million and the $13 million in incentives. Y'all know they gave him a contract for $4 million for 1 year and have it loaded with incentives that he could make 13. I would love to see that contract. What the hell is in it? That is 3 times the rate. All you can do is go to the Super Bowl. It's basically like they paying him to go run around the moon and come back. Something that's near impossible. What? They are trying to make the NFL great again. Facts. It said they don't realize they woke a giant and he has help. Facts. See, Shedeur is the one. Shedeur was built for this. Every nasty thing done to Shedeur and his dad basically set both of them up for the draft. Shedeur most so because why? He was a quarterback of the team. He took all the heat from the media, just like he taking now. He took hits from his own O-line, selling him out, just like he could possibly do now, but he not going to plan. See, there's two reasons why I don't think Shedeur going to see action like we want. So we're going to have to move off of that. One, they devalued him, and they damn sure don't deserve for him to deliver nothing for $4 million. So let him sit. That's why you hear the media. He can start. Yes, he can, but should he? No. Now today I saw a post going around. There was an interview on X. I reposted it with one of the O linemen that they just got, and he said he was looking forward to dinner with the rookies Dylan and Shedeur. And something I read said especially Shedeur. So I don't know. I had to go back and look at it. So I said, you know what? I think we're gonna talk about that interview. We're gonna watch it together. We gonna I think it will be good because we need to see who on that O line. And this guy is new. Now they paid him $10 million. They ain't pay nobody else like that. But he has never been a starter. But he is ambidextrous. He can play right or left. And the especially Shedeur part, I was like, he might be an ally. He might, because he gonna need to know who he could trust, right? We know as wide receivers, there are people we think, but there are some people out there that might be willing to drop a ball. Don't think there's not, because there's a lot of division happening there. You only see certain people that have the courage to connect with Shedeur publicly when it comes to the starters, and that's Njoku. And Miles Garrett don't have problems with it. Why? They both are first stringers. What they gonna do? What they gonna do? And y'all know. I got a video. Shedeur knows Jerry Judy. Remember, Jerry Judy came up to Colorado and worked out with who? Russell Wilson. They know each other. You don't see them talking, but they know each other, which made me think that's why they had Jerry Judy sharing a locker with Flacco, trying to tell him who he need to pal around with. That's the way I see it. That happened for a reason. Why he share a locker with Kenny Pickett. I would respect Flacco more if he just retired because he sees the BS. I agree. I agree, Matt. It said Flacco was sitting on the couch. Anyway, right. You might just go back to it. He said, I'm trying to extend my career for as long as I can. He is a part-time QB, and he has been a part-time QB since 2017. I would love to know how much money he has made from 2018 to 2025 being a part-time QB. Flacco part-time. They paid him $4 million. Shedeur is supposed to be full-time, and they paying him $4 million. You see the BS? Put Dylan out there. They paid him more. Put him out there. See, this, you got to be willing to let go of things. You have to be willing, like Shedeur was in the draft. Oh, it don't matter where I get drafted. It don't matter where you go. It don't matter. That's the only way he made it through, because they kept trying to use things against him. When he said, oh, he just wants to get drafted. Actually, Coach Prime said it. Oh, he just wants to be drafted before his father. The next thing you know, oh, he going number 6 to Vegas. The next thing you know, he going number 21, right? So he has to have the mindset of, I'm just here to enjoy the experience. That's it. Be detached. Don't want nothing. It would be nice, but God is protecting you. Let it happen. They're not paying you enough for your skill sets. They don't deserve it. If they leave you on the bench, stay there. Study the people around you and stay ready, because that door gonna swing wide open, and it might be to Dallas or Jacksonville. The NFL is secretly adopting 4T's racist policies while trying to appear as if they're not, with a DEI agenda. Right? They don't even have a DEI agenda. Once they took in racism out the end zone, it was on. You could see it. You could see it. Tommy said, if that is so about Jerry, why didn't he take Shedeur? Because nobody could take Shedeur at the time. What I'm saying about Jerry Jones is, I said I have an inkling that Coach Prime is going to be that leverage, and it's going to go straight through to Dallas. because of their connection. I ain't say it was gonna be today. I ain't say it was gonna be today, but I could see it. See, here's the thing, right? They weren't making business decisions on draft day. They were working in preservation mode, right? They were trying to preserve whiteness as the majority of starting quarterbacks. That's what they were working on. And everybody had to be in on it. One of the things I learned since this document came out is how when Russell Wilson wanted to leave Seattle in 22, when this whole collusion case started, um, there was a change in ownership, right? Now, this is the backstabbing part that I'm gonna get to. Two things. Uh, when he got to Denver, there were new owners. The owner was eager to give Russell Wilson what he wanted. $50 million for 7 years. And supposedly there was some guarantees, fully guaranteed. And apparently the other owners came along and was like, hell no. And this is how they describe him. Oh, he the new guy on the block. In other words, oh, he don't know how this works. You can't give him that. And the new owner's like, why can't I give it to him? This is my team. Because we work together. If you give him $350 million guaranteed and he got 2 years left, I'm going to have to do it to somebody else. They collaborate. They collude. They don't compete. They position talent. That's what they did with Shedeur. And when Russ left Denver, that's what they did with him. Now, it's said that Russ thought he had that contract, and so did his agent. So apparently, there was a switcheroo somewhere that when he left Seattle and landed in Denver, what was to be no longer was. And somehow his agent got duped. I think Russ got duped by his agent. That's what I think. And that tells you the lengths they were willing to go to set up different people, to destroy relationships with the person that was just now going to start working for you after he left another team, and he gave up his no trade clause and agreed to go there. They cheated him out of $81 million in injury clauses or in guarantees and they bullied him to give up his injuries. And then they benched him when he said no, and they traded him. But get this, not only was there a change in management, and apparently he had to get schooled into how to do this, and they was like, just leave it like that, we'll deal with it. And there must have been a little switcheroo somewhere. It's said that Russell Wilson is the reason Denver's coach got fired after he got there, and he wanted Sean Payton. Who did you see berating Russell Wilson on the field? I'm like, are y'all sure Russell Wilson asked for Sean Payton and that's how it went down? That's supposedly what it was. Supposedly Russ got the other coach fired. He asked for Sean Payton. They say Russ carried a lot of influence. They don't like that. And they played him like a fiddle. He didn't get the guarantees he had. He didn't get the $350 million. He got bullied. He got berated. His reputation got trashed. There is video after video after video, article after article after article, all calling Russ trash. They did a media hit job on him. And when he was sent to Pittsburgh, he was supposed to be QB2. And Mike Tomlin made him QB1, and they made a run. And they made it to the playoffs. And then they stripped Mike Tomlin of all his power. And today, Aaron Rodgers is running around telling everybody that this is the last year I'm retiring. This is it. I'm like, so hold up. You mean to tell me the Pittsburgh Steelers allowed a 1-year QB to block a franchise QB in Shedeur Sanders for 1 year? He already 42. They had to know that. So they was all in on it. The only person was going to draft Shedeur was Mike Tomlin. The organization who put out a statement in January and said they wanted to keep Russ, they was lying. They put that statement out there the same way Seattle put out the statement saying they wanted to keep Geno Smith, who they refused to pay and let go to Vegas to block Shedeur. They were all in on it. Several teams blocked Shedeur, including Cleveland, pushing him down, devaluing him, robbing him, lowering his price. And then Cleveland wanted to act like his savior. But you know that that's not the case because they treated him like they didn't want him. They wasn't happy, and they treated him like a fourth string QB. More public humiliation. They mean him no good. After the third round, he should have voluntarily exited the draft the way Justin Fields got the hell out of Pittsburgh with the quickness. To the point where Dan Orlovsky was sitting on camera when it came out 10 minutes after free agency opened. Justin Fields now plays for the Jets. He just knew they was going to force Justin Fields to stay back behind Aaron Rodgers at QB2. And when Justin left, they wanted to force Shedeur to that same QB2 spot. Why they got to be QB2? Where is the competition? So that's what I meant by Jerry Jones. I think that's where it's going to go. See, I have said it. Coach Prime has a wheelbarrow of dirt on these people. If they were worried about Travis fishing with Coach Prime, why were they worried? Because he has influence and they know it. They don't like that. It said, I think Coach Prime was hurt by Jerry. Oh, heck yeah. Jones the most became Jerry Jones. That's how you knew it was collusion. Jerry Jones, and what's his name? What's the other guy named? Jerry Jones, not Cleveland, but Tom Brady. Those two right there told you everything you needed to know. Y'all know Jerry Jones waited after the Nebraska game to sign Dak. And y'all know how that Nebraska game went. That was a setup. Yeah, he was definitely hurt by Jerry Jones. But apparently Coach Prime got a lot of influence because you see every player from Colorado got taken afterwards. Coach Prime ended up getting 15 players associated with the league. Everybody but Chidozie got associated with a pro league in some way, shape, or form. Everybody. I think it was 15 or 16. One is 15 because one went to Canada. So 14 with Will Shepherd, 13 without Will, and 14 went to Canada. And then Will Shepherd makes 15 again because I think he might have ended up down in Detroit. I mean, not Detroit, Denver, but I need to look that up. But Coach Prime got every single player associated with an NFL team. Explain that. Explain that. Because then when you look at it from that angle, well, they really don't hate Coach Prime then. No. Because they took every last Colorado buff into the NFL and then one went to Canada. Every last one except Chidozie. And y'all say that was about Coach Prime. No. That was about Shedeur. The beauty of all of this is Netflix is recording. Remember, Coach Prime got a documentary coming out next year. He announced it. At some point, I was like, is this about a movie? Because this is crazy. But it cost Shedeur too much money. If it didn't, I'd say it was. I'd say it was if it didn't. It said, yes, because if they know Flacco was going to stay number one, why draft Shedeur at 5? That's robbing people, right? Shedeur got a lashing without the whip. Yep, virtual lynching. That's what it was. You right, Tommy. Max says Shedeur lost millions, double digit, life changing, generational money, and they gave it to Travis. Now you tell me that wasn't a slap in the face. Why did they want to hurt Shedeur so bad? Did anybody know? See, people say this is about Coach Prime. No, Coach Prime was being used. So you don't realize what they were doing to Shedeur. But if you paid attention, every single Colorado player, minus Chidozie and the guy that went to Canada, got associated with an NFL team. And even Denver came back to give Will Shepherd a tryout after Tampa Bay. Mate and the kicker is up in Canada. Okay, I didn't know Mate was in Canada too. Okay. I would not want Tom Brady in my presence if I was Shedeur at Prime. I'm telling you, this is going to be interesting. Somebody said it on the podcast yesterday. They said, how the hell is this recruiting and scouting going to go? I have no idea. I have no idea. They're going to have to get some new employees because you can't send the same ones. Or they're going to have to come out there with Prime. See, to me, the fact that they took all the buffs, every last one of Shedeur Sanders' wide receivers got to the NFL. The only college to do that, not Georgia, not Texas, not Tennessee, not Alabama, Colorado. Anybody have any thoughts on it? Because that's crazy. It proves that Coach Prime was the tent. And inside the tent, which is covering, Coach Prime is the cover of what's really taking place that most people don't know about happening in the tent, underneath the tent. It Shedeur being abused. Most people can only see the tent. They don't see what's going on inside of it. Coach Prime was a scapegoat for them to abuse his son and keep him out of the QB1 spot. It's still happening in Cleveland. Let it happen. Let it happen. That ain't what we want as fans. But when you look at who Cleveland is, I was not looking for that young man's story today. Deshaun, I was not looking for that. And I was sorry I found it at one point. I'm serious. That happened for a reason. Just like Deshaun Watson is there for a reason. It shows you, just between Deshaun Watson and DK, it shows you what they're capable of doing to harm another individual. So, no, yes, he can start, but not in Cleveland. Because, for one, they devalued him. And that's going to be a problem. There's going to be hell to pay if they try to make him the starter for $4 million. Because then they're going to be laughing behind the scenes that they robbed him. Hell to the no. And if they bench him, they know the fans coming. So they're going to have to play him. But they better protect him. So no, he don't need to be QB1 there. Not for $4 million. DTR started 3 games. That's enough. I was not looking for that story either. I was searching for other news, and pop goes the weasel. There it is, suspended. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I was talking about Deshaun. Lord have mercy. His family. I would love to talk to his family. He did an interview, but I want to ask his family. So what were y'all? What was kind of happening with y'all as a family? Like when y'all was seeing this, what were y'all thinking was the reason this was happening? Did y'all have any thoughts that there was foul play? There's no way I could watch my child for 15 weeks be set up to fail through 15 football games. You mean tell me you couldn't get nobody else to play? And his comp is who? Steve McNair. See, those are the players. The Vince Youngs, DK, Deshaun. Those are the players that they supposed to. Hey, another another Steve McNair. We lost Steve McNair, right? So it would be great to have another one, right? It would be nice. Tribute, reminder, celebration of his life. No, they destroyed him. Shedeur Sanders is too pretty. Those owners can't their women and daughters falling out over here. You know, for a second, remember, did anybody remember the well off media video when they were in New Orleans, and after Shedeur was talking to Roger Goodell, and Bucky was right there recording, they turned around and Jerry Jones was talking to Coach Prime, and he was yelling out, "Prime, Prime, that's mine." I was like, and it was nothing but what was women standing right there. So I was like, did something happen with a woman? Because that's the first thing. With sometimes with men and women, with women and men, but a lot of times they say that's how some wars get started, right? There is a woman somewhere. The whole Spanish war, over a woman. I thought about it. But then why would you take I can see you taking that out on Coach Prime. Why would you take that out on Shedeur? They are trying to destroy Shedeur Sanders. Jerry is not, but Shedeur is going to a bigger market. Yep, probably. Yep, he lost millions. It is about the new system of energy. Shedeur represents that alpha energy. Yeah. And I see another thing too. When I did the profile on the guy today, DK, I gotta get his name. I can't believe I don't remember his name. That might be good because that story was traumatic. That I had to take a break. I was like, this is terrible. I was like, it's bad. What is his name? Deshaun Kirksey. Let's see if that's his name. Yeah, I forgot his name. Anyway, the young man, Deshaun. That's all I know. Like Dashone or Deshone, Deshaun, and last name start with a K, Kersey. I thought he was German, and he might be. Like if his parents, were stationed overseas and he grew up over there, like Boris Kojo. That's kind of the vibe that he gives, the same Boris Kojo type vibe. Um, I think with him, it did show me what they're capable of, right? But I feel like it showed you something else. That's where I started thinking about what the hell are the fans coming to see every week? When you go 0 and 15, what do you keep showing up for? Right? Some Max said I think it's deeper with Tom. Oh, do you? Okay. How all get drafted, but you damn how all get drafted, but you damn Shador is not ready. He is not throwing it himself. Right. That's how you know this is about the quarterback position. One of the things, the differences between DK, Deshaun, and not Deshaun Watson, but DK, the other guy from 2017, and Shador. See, they know who they could play with. They know who they could play with. You can't do to DK, I mean to Shador what you did to DK. You can't put Shador Sanders out there with 3 million fans and set him up week after week after week to fail. You can't do that. You can't. That's why I think they tried to end him in the draft and put him so far back from QB1. Because then how am I keep him out of the QB1 spot? That's why he's so far back. You cannot get away with what you did to Caleb. You think you could sit there and watch Shedeur Sanders be sacked 68 times over 18 games? Mm-mm. Not without everybody talking about it and them throwing stuff on the field and not it getting ugly. People are starting to repeat what the first person, LeVar Arrington, said. There will be hell to pay. The guy that did the first round projection, scouting report, that's sitting on the NFL's website, said if Shedeur Sanders does not get drafted in the first round, it's going to be a problem. That's what he said. And he wrote the scouting report for the NFL. It's on NFL.com. And here we are. And he got locked out of the first round. They better have locked him out because if you would have drafted him at number 2 and try to get him sacked 68 times, it ain't gonna fly. Caleb don't have 3 million fans. Well, he didn't maybe at that time. He might right now. but I bet he got PTSD. Shedeur even talked about that at Colorado. Bryce Young suffered from that as well because they did the same thing to him. Justin Fields. Justin Fields got injured. They had to put in an undrafted free agent in Chicago. You cannot do what you did to DK to Shedeur. It's too many voices. Therefore, they got the right one. And when black people say you got the right one, you indeed did not get the right one. Shedeur is living his dad's story again. Yep, I agree. Because he said he knew what his dad had been through. It just only makes sense out of all the teams they could have been worried about the last couple of years. They only been worried about CU players. Really? Yep. It was not looking, I was not looking for that story either. I was searching for the other news. Yep. Yeah, I wasn't looking for Justin Tucker either. Shedeur Sanders is too pretty says, oh yeah, now I saw that when they were in New Orleans. I do believe that that is a factor. Tommy said, I missed the Deshaun story. What happened? I just did a video on it. Just check out the video before this one because it's a lot. You see what happened to the college player for, I think, LSU. Are you talking about the one that got cancer or the one that passed away? Let me know. Yes, he put it in mute. Steve McNair also. Yeah, he did. Yeah, I was watching his documentary again. That's how I think we got on one of the topics of I didn't know Steve McNair was traded after almost winning the Super Bowl. He was traded from Tennessee. I said they're doing that so they can't easily get back. And then Steve McNair's comp was DK, Deshaun. And look what they did to him. It's like if they know they are good, they're going to try their hardest to suppress them. Yes, it will be hell to pay if Shedeur is QB1. Yep. So we're going to talk about their interview from the O lineman that just got to Cleveland. Even though he was not a starter, he plays on both sides. And he said he was looking forward to the rookie dinner with Dylan and Shedeur. And I think somebody had posted, he said, especially with Shedeur. I didn't hear that part, but I have to look at it. Deshaun Kaiser, thank you. See, I think he might be German. Deshaun Kaiser, DESHONEKIZR. Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you. But yeah, that story, go back and watch that video. It's good. I think the title of it is Yes, Shedeur Sanders can start in Cleveland, but should he? And I use Kaiser and Shedeur on the thumbnail, so you'll know you have the right one. Hell, most of us have PTSD because of what they did to my nephew Shedeur. Yup, facts. Caleb took the worst because they judged him for painting his nails. Nah, that's not what it was. That's not what it was because they using that right now. They did Caleb like that because it's in a book. Caleb tried to circumvent the NFL and the CBA. Caleb wanted to dodge the NFL. One, Caleb's father didn't want him to come out of USC. But then the media started berating him and talking about they going to take it out on him in the draft. Well, he still got drafted first. But after he tried to go to the UFL, after his father hired lawyers to try to circumvent the CBA, he got sacked 68 times. What do they call that? Retaliation. So you're seeing a pattern of retaliation, of collusion, um, disparagement, devaluing, switching them off in different ways. It's a lot of different ways that they weaponize different tactics to hold these black quarterbacks back. That's all that this is about. And the fact that black quarterbacks only make up only maybe 20-25% of the league quarterbacks overall, they have become with Shedeur in this draft and possibly somebody else like Russell Wilson during the season. 17 of 32, which makes the starting quarterbacks all be the majority of black. Yep, That's what it is. Deshaun Kaiser, thank you so much. He was born in Toledo, Ohio. His parents, somebody got to be German because Kizer. So he is from Toledo, but somebody got to be German. I said I was going to look into it. And he does kind of remind me of Boris Kojo a little bit. He even talks like him. I will watch it. You out here putting this stuff out. Yep. And please watch it and hit the like button for me. Yep. True. So we're going to get out of here. We might get back to this document later. But y'all got the most of it. Y'all see what the gist of it is. I circled some parts. I'll try to go through it and see. I really don't care about it. I just wanted us to kind of look over it. The reason here is I don't care about it. Collusion is not new for the NFL. And people thought this was a celebratory event because a judge said that they colluded, but all you hear is they almost colluded. So it's just more of the same, right? And I saw the text messages, the evidence is circulating on social media. Check out Marcellus Wiley page. I think he talked about the text messages. People said it talked about Shedeur. I didn't see Shedeur in here. I don't even know why Shedeur would be in here. I think what people are starting to ask is based on what they did see, how they did Russell Wilson, how they colluded against Lamar Jackson. Is that did they collude against Shedeur? That's yes, twice, twice on day one. Yes, Shedeur Sanders was colluded against twice. Maybe I'll make a video about it. Twice. They blocked him out of the first round. That's one. And then they took him off the board. That's two. And then it goes on from there. So they devalued him. They colluded to devalue him. That could be three, but for sure two times. And then they did devalue him. So and that's not new for the NFL either. Colluding, right? That's what it is. And in a video that I posted the other day, I shared the verbiage that Mike Tomlin said there were these phone calls and we had to listen. So here's what I want to know. When was he taken off the board? Sounds like they were leaning on Mike Tomlin not to draft him. So was he taken off the board at the end of the second round or the end of the first round? They had locked him out of the first round, apparently. So how was Mike Tomlin going to take him? And the owners took him off the board at some point, and the question is, when? See, that's what the discovery, hopefully we get expedited discovery on this too. And the difference with this case is this ruling right here came through arbitration. See, the other one is going through the courts. So we'll just have to see how that goes. And hopefully we'll get a ruling any day sometime soon. Great show. Thank y'all so much. BP. Lay the case out. Don't hold back. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, we getting ready to get out. If y'all want to come back and talk about this again, let me know in the comments. We can keep the conversation going in the comments. Let me know if y'all want to continue on. We stopped on, let's see what page we on. We are on page 24. So we can keep going. We can keep going. We'll just come back tomorrow and talk about it tomorrow night at 9:30. I'll keep the open earlier podcast for breaking news or something like that. Okay, so y'all let me know. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Mike Tomlin was letting us know. Yep, he sure was. He was. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports.